Prime Minister Modi addresses election rally at Karimganj in Assam. Targets Congress, says vote bank-based governance made Assam most disconnected in the country. Campaigning picks up for Assam Assembly elections. Election rallies draw huge crowds. Government introduces a vehicle scrapping policy for phasing out of unfit polluting vehicles. Budget session of Tripura Assembly from March 19th. And Meghalaya government to auction extracted coal from East Jaintia Hills. A very good evening, viewers. Welcome to the Northeast News Bulletin from the studios of DDK Guwahati. This is Hansraj, and now the stories in details. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday, while addressing an election rally in southern Assam's Karimganj district, said there is a wave of development and trust in the state today. The Prime Minister alleged Congress's corruption and vote bank-based governance made Assam one of the most disconnected states in India. He said decades ago this entire region was backward in all forms of connectivity, but situation has changed from poor to better in the last 7 years due to measures adopted by NDA government for improving all forms of connectivity across the country. Modi added, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, the mantra of BJP-led NDA government, pays good dividend to all states of the Assam of the country, including Assam.
यहाँ बराक वैली की रेल कनेक्टिविटी की क्या स्थिति थी, इसको लेकर हर बार यहां से आवाज उठती थी, मांग उठती थी। सड़कें खस्ता हाल थी, रेल नेटवर्क सीमित था। असम के अलग अलग हिस्सों में जाने के लिए लोगों को बहुत लंबा सफर तय करना पड़ता था। गैस कनेक्टिविटी को लेकर भी असम की स्थिति अच्छी नहीं थी। भाजपा सरकार इस स्थिति से असम को तेजी से बाहर निकाल रही है। बहनों और भाइयों, आज असम में नई सड़कें बन रही हैं, नए फ्लाईओवर बन रहे हैं, नए पुल बन रहे हैं। बरसों से अटके हुए भारत के सबसे लंबे ब्रिज भूपेन हजारिका सेतु का निर्माण किसने पूरा करवाया? भाजपा की ही सरकार ने काम किया। असम को मेघालय से जोड़ने के लिए इससे भी बड़े धुबरी फुलबाड़ी ब्रिज का निर्माण कौन करवा रहा है? भाजपा की सरकार करवा रही है। देश का सबसे लंबा रिवर रोपवे असम को किसने दिया? भाजपा की सरकार ने दिया। किसने बरसों से अधूरे पड़े भारत के सबसे लंबे रेल रोड ब्रिज, बोगीबील ब्रिज का काम पूरा करवाया? भाजपा की सरकार ने किया।
With barely a week left for the first phase of Assam Assembly elections, political parties across the state have intensified election campaign to woo voters. Star campaigners of both BJP and Congress have flocked to the state and addressed election rallies in different corners of the state. Most of these rallies have been able to draw huge crowds. Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel on Thursday addressed an election rally at Dhemaji. In Guwahati today, candidates of different political parties have submitted nomination papers for the third phase of Assembly election. Assam Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal has addressed an election rally at Lakhimpur, while his colleague and senior BJP leader Himanta Biswa Sarma addressed a rally at Roha in Nagaon district. AIUDF Chief Badruddin Ajmal addressed a mammoth gathering at Dolgaon in Darong district. In Kokrajhar, senior leader of Bodoland People's Front, Pramila Rani Brahmo, filed her nomination today. Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari today introduced a vehicle scrapping policy in the Lok Sabha, which is aimed at creating an ecosystem for phasing out unfit and polluting vehicles. Making a statement on the policy on the floor of the House, Gadkari said it will bring transformational changes in the automobile sector by reducing vehicular emission of pollutants. He said it will also improve fuel efficiency of vehicles, ensure road and vehicular safety, attract investment, boost availability of low-cost raw materials for industries and increase GST for the central and state governments. The minister informed the House that more than 3.7 crore jobs will be created in the country with the implementation of this policy. Gadkari said the scheme will provide incentives to owners of old vehicles to scrap their old and unfit vehicles through registered scrapping centers after producing scrapping certificates. Information and Technology Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad today asserted that the internet should not become a monopoly of few. During Zero Hour, Prasad said India has over 140 crore online users on Facebook, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, etc. He said they are free to do business in India. He, however, said the government welcomes dissent. The minister also said that the issue is not of use of social media but of misuse and abuse of the same. Prasad said the government has taken a position that any attempt to create imperialism of internet by few companies is not acceptable. He said that Disha Ravi's case is under judicial consideration, but the House should consider whether some people should be allowed to misuse social media to defame India on the global front. Z.C. Chandrasekhar of Congress brought up the issue of Disha Ravi's arrest in the toolkit case. Now it's time for us to take a short break. We'll be back with more news. Stay tuned.
डिजिटल बैंकिंग का है जमाना, टाइम है बचाना। डिजिटल बैंकिंग है आसान, करो चाहे कोई भुगतान, एनी टाइम एनीवेयर, सेफ है, फास्ट है, हर पेमेंट उंगलियों पे सेट है। लेन देन के हैं ऑप्शंस कई, IMPS, NEFT, UPI भी। 24 घंटे करते ये काम, पेमेंट आसान और रहे आराम। RBI कहता है जानकार बनिए, सतर्क रहिए।
Welcome back. The budget session of Tripura Assembly is scheduled to commence on Friday with the Governor's address to the House. The Business Advisory Committee of the Assembly has already held a meeting and finalized the business for the 5-day budget session. Soon after the Governor's address, Deputy Chief Minister Jishnu Dev Verma would table the budget for the year 2021-22. The members will get a chance to participate in the discussion on the budget on March 23rd and 24th. During the upcoming session, there will be question hour as it has been a tradition in the House for the past several years. In the last session, question hour was not allowed because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Meghalaya Chief Minister Conrad K. Sangma today informed that the government will soon auction the extracted coal from East Jaintia Hills as per directive of the National Green Tribunal. Replying to the question raised by West Shillong legislator Mohendra Rapsang during the question hour in the Assembly, Sangma informed that the NGT has fixed the base price of 4,850 rupees per metric tons, adding that 10% from the sale of per metric tons of coal will go to the Coal India Limited, which is responsible for conducting the auction of the extracted coal.
Supreme Court.
Following the video conference with Prime Minister Narendra Modi regarding the recent rise in COVID-19 cases in the country, along with other chief ministers on Wednesday, Sikkim Chief Minister Prem Singh Tamang has announced the night curfew after 10 p.m. covering restaurants, bars, discos, pubs and gyms, while vehicular movement will not be allowed after 10:30 p.m. with immediate effect. The Chief Minister has appealed to people to regularly wear masks and continue to follow social distancing and COVID-19 protocols. The Prime Minister had stretched on strengthening COVID-19 protocols for prevention of this disease. With 7 new cases of COVID-19 reported in Sikkim as of Tuesday, total cases stood at 6,191, of which 44 were active. India has administered over 3 crore 71 lakh COVID vaccination doses to the beneficiaries in the country so far. Union Health Ministry said that more than 20,78,000 people have been inoculated with COVID-19 doses in the last 24 hours. Presently, the total number of active cases in the country is over 2,52,000, which comprises only 2.20% of the total positive cases. A total number of 35,871 new cases have been reported in the country in the past 24 hours, taking the cumulative positive cases to over 1 crore 14 lakh. The Health Ministry said 172 deaths have been reported during the last 24 hours, taking the toll to over 1,59,000 across the country. In the COVID update from the Northeast, Assam reported 280 active cases, 2,15,146 discharged cases, while the death toll is 1,099. There are 2 active cases in Arunachal Pradesh, followed by 16,783 released cases. The dead account for 56. With 28 active cases, Manipur has reported 28,922 cured cases, while tally for the dead is 373. Meghalaya has 30 active cases, followed by 13,824 released cases. The tally for the dead is 148. In Mizoram, number of active cases is 17, while cured cases stand at 4,417. The number of deaths is 11. Reporting 7 active cases, Nagaland has logged 12,127 discharged cases, while the death toll is 91. Sikkim has 46 active cases, followed by 6,013 cured cases. The dead account for 135. Saddled with 12 active cases, Tripura has logged 33,041 released cases, while the tally for the dead remains 391. The solo cycle ride, titled as Hazar Bar Dekho Northeast Dekho, organized by the India Tourism Northeast, concluded today, and the closing ceremony is held at the Royal Global University in Guwahati. Principal Commissioner of Income Tax Assam, Sanjay Bahadur, covered a 1,000-kilometer-long solo bicycle journey across the state under the program. While speaking to DD News, he shared his experience in the last 10 days of his journey in a bicycle. Describing the natural beauty of Northeast, Sanjay Bahadur said that it is a beautiful place to visit and urged the tourists to visit Northeast. He also added that Northeast is an unexplored paradise. The solo cycle ride will aim to highlight the magnificence of the Northeast. The 10-day-long journey began on March 7th and concluded on March 18th. Recipient of Padma Shri Award and social activist Birubala Rabha on Thursday, while inaugurating a seminar on domestic violence, expressed concern over increasing number of domestic violence cases in Assam in recent years. The Rural Women Upliftment Association of Assam has organized a seminar at the PWD Convention Cum Training Center in Guwahati. Rabha, who spearheaded a movement against witch hunting menace in Assam, has appealed to concerned government agencies and socio-cultural and socio-economic organizations of the state to work for curbing incidents of domestic violence. According to statistics released by the National Commission for Women, Assam stands at the 3rd spot when it comes to the increasing case of domestic violence in the country. In Tripura, Maitri football match series between Border Security Force BSF and Border Guard Bangladesh BGB began today. The first match was held at Belonia and the South District of Tripura, and the match ended in a draw. BSF is organizing the friendly football match series in all 6 frontiers of Eastern Command BSF to mark the celebration of 50 years of the 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War. And to end the news, the main points once again. Prime Minister Modi addresses election rally at Karimganj in Assam, targets Congress, says vote bank-based governance have made Assam most disconnected in the country. Campaigning picks up for the Assam Assembly election. Election rallies draw huge crowds. Government introduces vehicle scrapping policy for phasing out of unfit polluting vehicles. Budget session of Tripura Assembly from March 19th. And Meghalaya government to auction extracted coal from East Jaintia Hills. And that brings us to the end of this evening's bulletin. Thank you for tuning in. Namaskar.